We're back, and here's Tony with the new Infiniti G20.
One thing Japanese makers invading the luxury car field have in common is that they all have an entry-level model. Acura has its Integra, Lexus its ES250, and Infiniti offers the G20 to those who are unable or unwilling to go the whole hog on the flagship car. When Nissan looked around for an entry-level Infiniti, it chose not unnaturally a model that appears in other markets as a plain and simple Nissan. This is not necessarily a bad thing, because recent Nissans have been very good indeed, and most have won considerable praise on this show. As a styling effort, the G20 is quite successful. Matched against its two Japanese Luxo rivals, it ends up a shade more attractive than Integra and much better looking than an ES250. Many might not agree, but the G20 is the most recent design of the group and should look better for that reason alone. It follows the currently universal theme of low nose, high trunk and lots of glass, but it manages to come out looking nicely distinctive. There's a touch of BMW about the rearmost pillar, and there are one or two other points that remind you of rival sedans. Generally though, I like this one a lot. Nissan emphasizes that G20 is a sports luxury car and does not clash with its Maxima model. Hopefully for Nissan, the market will see things the same way. One thing's for sure, Infiniti dealers will work long and hard in creating and maintaining a classy image for this range in every way. You can bet that Infiniti customers, whether they buy a G20 or a Q45, will be pampered as never before. As a sporty luxury car, the G20 gets the job done quite well. There's a very sweet 2-litre twin-cam 16-valve 4-cylinder engine under the hood, and it revs happily and responsively with just a touch of the throttle. You should hit the benchmark 100 km/h level in 8.5 seconds or so, and our car's 5-speed gearbox made getting there a real pleasure. Fuel economy is tagged at 8.4 litres per 100 kilometres in all-around use, according to Transport Canada. Nissan is pricing this one at $26,000 fully equipped, which undercuts the Lexus ES250 by several $1,000s. On the other hand, the Lexus has a V6 engine, and Infiniti may find some resistance on that score. For this quite reasonable price, you get a very well-equipped car. Full leather is included, and it's a quality piece of workmanship, not the token effort some makers stand accused of. Just about everything that can be powered is powered, and the door locks thankfully operate with one turn of the key. For some reason, the power window switches are scattered, one on the driver's side grab handle and the rest rather awkwardly on a small console bin. Seats are well-shaped and comfortable, and there's provision for front and rear height adjustment as well as back rate. The knobs for these functions, while efficient, are hard to operate with the door closed, and there's a tendency to scratch your watch glass on the door trim when you grapple with them. On the practical side, there's a roomy trunk with a low sill that's easy to lift loads over. The lid swings up 90 degrees to provide a wide opening and prevent banged heads. Typical of up-to-date Japanese products is a generous amount of interior oddment space. Instrumentation and the dash itself is pure Q45, which means that interior ambience is very satisfying. Safety features include standard anti-lock brakes and a very effective traction control system. I like the G20 a lot, and it deserves its sports sedan tag. It is in tough against the similarly priced BMW 318IS, in addition to its obvious rivals, the Acura Integra and Lexus ES250. Also up there is the Ford Taurus SHO and some versions of the Pontiac Grand Prix. A well-optioned Subaru Legacy is also a worthwhile rival, and we mustn't forget the Audi 90 and Mercedes 190, though both of these are much more expensive. But is it good enough to be an Infiniti, Ted?
Well, yes and no. I don't like the styling of this thing at all. It looks like a Peugeot 405 and a Sentra combined.
That's good.
That's good? I don't think so. Price is good, I'll give it that, but it's too small inside. The point about this car is that I can get you a car for probably $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 less. It's every bit the car this is. This needs a V6 engine as well. I got problems with it. I'm sort of vacillating here. I like it, but there's things about it that I don't like. I don't consider it to be a luxury car. It's just basically to me a tarted up Sentra.
Well, it is basically, I suppose. But in Europe, of course, the car is sold as a Nissan Primera, and it's aimed at the very big market for reps cars, sales reps and so forth, and it's a very competitive market which includes some pretty mundane cars like Ford Sierra and Cavalier from GM and so forth. But I think they've done a pretty good job with it in as much as that it's a good sporty sedan or small sporty sedan.
Okay, but the only reason they do that is that they cannot start a new automotive dealer network with only one model, the Q45. They've got to put another car in there.
True, yeah.
So what they've come up with is the Primera, which existed already. And, you know, okay, so it's here, fine, but I'm not going to get excited about it.
Well, I think if you look at, I mean, I think that one of the things you've got to consider when you're buying an Infiniti is the incredible dealer service you're going to get. I mean, they're going to work harder on customers than anybody ever has before, from what I heard.
Well,
and the same with Lexus, right? And this car is thousands less than the Lexus ES250, even though it only has a 4-cylinder
as I say,
engine.
I don't dislike the car, Tony. I should throw in here that the Primera, which is sold in Europe, recently won the Golden Steering Wheel Award in West Germany, which is a big deal over there. It means that
big thing.
And Germans are very, very picky about their cars, I might add. So, so obviously the car's reliable and it does what it's supposed to, but it's like eating a bowl of porridge or something. I just can't get worked up about it, you know.
Well, I think it's very smooth and slick. I like the driving position. There are some details of the car I didn't like, but only details. I love the way that trunk opens so wide. If you bang your head on there, you're in serious trouble, I think. But I think the car deserves to be an Infiniti, and I think it'll probably stand up well in the range. Okay, let's sum up here. Things I didn't like: the awkward to use seat knobs, the strangely placed window switches, and power being a bit off. On the plus side, I did like the styling. Ted didn't like it. Interior very well laid out, and the handling was excellent for a car of this class. Driving dollar value, I give it 7/8 of a tank. Almost a full tank, not quite.
And we'll be